Let's talk about the Olympics. It is not a question of which Kenyan, if a Kenyan will win the 10,000 meters. It is a question of which Kenyan will win it.
Of course. Yeah,
Thank you. Yeah. You're a wise man. Why is the market going down?
Well, we expected a bit of profit taking this week. The market is up, 20% year to date. I think most speculators, or shall I say retail investors, booking their profits. We still know that the market still has an headroom for growth. We expect it to hit 4,000 points in a few weeks to come. So I guess a bit of profit taking, but I still see there's still more good momentum that is behind. So I guess we're likely to see this perhaps even feeding through next week, but eventually go up to the high 4,000.
Let's talk about some earnings numbers we saw today. First off, National Bank, because of high interest expenses, those were up almost 5 times. Its first half profit down 17% to 911 million shillings. Is this a bad sign?
Not really, because the market kind of expected it, because the environment you were coming from, the high interest rates, it eventually was going to affect the sector in terms of high interest rates paying the depositors, and also in terms of some of the slow uptake of loans. So I guess this was kind of expected. A 17% drop, I think it's kind of high, considering most players in the sector did kind of well. So I guess for that particular counter, I think it's really an outlier, really.
But do you think it could still finish the year well?
Not really. Well, let me say this. I think so. If they really put some of the things in order, like in terms of advancing the loans to the right group of people, the idea is just basically to make sure that they don't lend to risky investors. As we're getting into a low interest rate environment, yes, of course, we expect a bit of loan uptake. And I think maybe in terms of interest income, we can see a bit of profitability there.
All right, another earnings report out this time from Bamburi Cement. We've seen a boom in the building and construction industry, but their first half was hit quite significantly by financing costs.
Yeah, I think not just the Bamburi alone, but when you look across the sector, it's the same story. High interest rates, I think, kind of affected most of the players' profitability. But I think going forward, as interests come down, and perhaps we're likely to see a bit of renegotiation, and I will not be surprised to see some of these farms coming in for more rights issue, to pay down the loans and stuff like that. But going forward, as the sector is still one of the most active sectors, the building and construction, I guess it's not really something of a concern.
Okay, British American, whose earnings numbers are also out this week. Today they hit a 2-month high because investors like the fact that after a loss, they're back into a profit zone.
Yeah, sure. Remember last time, half-year results, there was about a $2 million loss, right?
Yes.
And right now it's about $20 million. I guess this last time it was just basically unrealized losses. So I guess with the recovery of the market up 20% year to date, so I guess that's really feeding into its profitability for the last 6 months. Going forward, I guess the company is really a good counter, because when you look at its strategies, they're trying to diversify all across the region, and also they're trying to launch new funds going into property. I guess going forward, it's really a good counter to invest in.
This just happening right now. The Capital Markets Authority is holding a press conference that is still going on, but the takeaway is that 7 different people have been barred from sitting on the board of any listed companies, among them the very prominent Charlton Jonjo. Yes. Have we ever seen something of the sort before?
No, not really. But such a move was actually long overdue.
Yes.
One of the things is because most international investors would like to come in, but they're really concerned with issues surrounding corporate governance. They like to see a bit of power to say the regulator having some bit of powers in terms of reaching out and make sure some of these players, some of these boards, actually following some of the standards and guidelines that are there. So I guess going forward, this is going to inspire confidence to bring in to bring international investors into local market.
Yes.
And even as a way to protect retail investors who've actually been quite hit with some of this mismanagement by the so-called boards.
Tell me, what are the stocks to be looking out for next week, the quick stock books?
Next week, I think there's been a lot of participation on the big caps. the likes of EBL, the likes of Bamburi. So I guess opening next week, I guess I would like to see a bit of activity there, perhaps, and see 25–30% participation from the overall market.
Because one of the, for instance, Bamburi, the market will be still trying to come to terms with these results and sort of now beginning to digest it.
Yeah, sure. I expect that, well, of course, the usual suspects, the likes of Safaricom as well,
yes,
and the likes of some of the new companies that we expect to be offering their results, like Mumias.
And then there's Kenya Airways, which has announced today a restructuring plan. We don't know how much money it is trying to save, or how many employees it is targeting, and I'll be asking Titus a little later on.
Yes.
But the market does not take this news well.
Well, I think because, look, just looking at the results last year, almost over half of its operational costs come from only two components alone. You're looking at fuel and employee costs. So I guess they're only trying to tackle only one component, which is employee costs. But fine, I think they need also to look at the fuel cost, which takes almost half of its operational costs. So I guess, well, this is a good move, trying to bring down its operational costs. But I guess I think it needs to do much further in terms of seeing what strategy does it have to hedge its costs, fuel costs. I guess in doing that, in moving forward, I think that will bring the blessing of investors back.
All right, Rufus, we'll leave it there. Asante sana. Go Team Kenya tonight.
Yeah, man.
Yes, indeed. And we'll be talking with the Kenya Airways CEO, Titus Nekuni, when we come back about that voluntary retirement scheme and indeed the restructuring. It is just set in motion from August 1.